Hey everybody, how's it going? I am busy with so much stuff right now. We filmed a bunch of things in the last few weeks. I'm opening something I don't want to open. Um, and it's been great, but it has been busy. Um, and Nikki and I are a little worn out. We will be back on Thursday with a regular game night. I was hoping we would do it last week, but both of us had so much that we had been doing and still doing, and hopefully we get a little bit of a break. But we have the SDJ nominees that we've been filming. We had a couple of the games filmed already because we like the games, and one of them we ended up holding on to release because we'd filmed it a while back. And I was actually hoping for it to be like a season ender. We ended up doing Panda Spin, which I really love, and it actually got a pretty great reaction, so it's helpful to that game because I guess it's been out for nearly 2 years or something, maybe Gen Con 2024. Nikki had felt we had seen it before, but I'm like, we don't have it, so we might have seen it because it's from Matago, and Nikki used to work for Matago, and we were pretty certain they would have sent that to us, but they probably didn't have it ready yet, and then maybe thought we got it at Spiel, I don't know. And maybe we got it for the BGG library. So we're doing okay. Let's see here. I'm hoping that I really want to be painting. So I have surgery next week, which is not supposedly terrible. I'm not too stressed about it, but I am concerned. You gotta be. But I'm just concerned. I'm mostly concerned about the recuperation. I do not know how. I don't think it's going to be very long, but who knows? There could be problems, So that's next week, and I need to have the three. So we're going to have the 3 kids games come out this Thursday, and then something next week. Maybe not an STJ. I kind of want to. I actually. I want to get. I don't know. We have. Let me look at the calendar here. Brian's writing me. So yeah, we're this week is the 16th, so 18th would be the next one. So we can have a gap in there. Or we have the discussion video. We may put the discussion video out with I don't know, I'm not certain how we're going to do that. We usually have a regular game night episode every week, and then we'll do the additional things, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll work out. But the good thing is they actually, well, I don't know if it's good, sort of good. They now have the kids games, the Kinderspiel nominee at the same time. The announcements are at the same time of the nominations, and the winners are announced at the same time, the same day and at the same event. So it's sort of a little more exciting, but I feel like you now have 3 games coming out that are 3 winners that you kind of have to pay attention to, and I wonder how good that is. I'm sure it's great for the hobby in general, because so in our discussion we talked about it. I think we talked about that the Kenner was added 10 or not 10, 14 years ago or so. From my memory, the winner was Village was the first Kenner, but the game that really kind of triggered that thinking, I believe. I stated as fact in the video, which is not correct necessarily. But I think the game that triggered it was Donald X. Vaccarino's Dominion. It's interesting he's nominated for Kenner this year, and I really like that game. I honestly don't even remember what I voted for. So we're a little ahead of the game, only because I do have this stuff coming up. But it is nice because we don't have to rush out I think by now we would have had to release the Kinder nominees last Friday. or Thursday, because the award would have been probably announced now. Who even knows? Because, you know, they announced the nominees the weekend before BGG Spring, and that, you know, Memorial Day it's nothing in Germany, right? So, I mean, it's cool. I'm super happy that they're doing it. I don't know how much, you know, how long they can continue to do it. It's we talked to Christoph, who, you know, of course is on the jury and was there showing the games, and he was saying how helpful it was to see the reactions, right? Folks coming back to play games all the way through. Now, you know, BGG Con is the family con, meaning, you know, younger kids are allowed to be there. I think that, I don't know what the age minimum is on BGG Fall. It's of course a little higher, but they, you know, I played games. I had my rear end kicked from a kid playing tumbling dice with me, and she had to be like 5. It was fantastic. I did not play any dexterity games this year. I'm sort of disappointed because they're in the main hall for that, but we did play a lot of games, but we ended up being really busy, so it was a little challenging. And I have a dream of making a dexterity game in the printing one that exists, 3D printing, and that may happen soon. We played one at Cannes FIJ 2 years in a row, I think. Probably more than that, I don't know. I was so in love with it. So maybe they had 2 different versions, I think, in two years in a row, and I did contact the guy that made it, but you know, he probably only speaks French and he did not respond. But it would be fun to have. So we will see. Okay, let me see here. See if this is working here. Cool. Okay. So let me cut back to the table here. Get back up here. I have to like do so many things now. We have music service that we pay for. It's not working. It's not their fault, but it's not working in our software that we have to stream, and it's really kind of a drag. So I have to do a lot more. I think Derek, you know, because this is the only show that we just run music the whole time, so we don't really worry about it. So the other day I painted, just got started on Shuri. Did her eyes, but they need more white. And I think the green is the green I used on Loki's coat. And then I'm going to do some highlighting on that. And then I think I just decided to try using this Gorgonta fur as the wood color, and I'll do some highlighting on that. So they did something like that. She's on the ground is not gray. I have to think about how I want to handle that. I did, if you can see here, I did leave this mini on my poster tack handle, which I don't use that handle for that reason. I mean, I do use it, but I only leave miniatures on it for a short time because it just really bonds, and it's not really a big deal, it'll be fine, but it had a huge clump of poster tack under here, and she had fallen, and so she was sagging and stretching out the poster tack. So I don't know if I want to use it that way. I definitely only want to use it for doing the bases. Hey, thanks, the green laser. That's good. I'm glad that it's working today. I actually got out here a lot earlier to figure out some of the issues we keep having, but the audio, the music is the one that's, it helps me, or it keeps me kind of like, you know, not sweating it and enjoying myself. I went for a long time on Thursday, and I think maybe, I mean, I've streamed Tuesday, Thursday, and then again this Tuesday. So let's hope we have our act together and we can stream on Thursday. I'm really excited about some of the stuff we brought home from BGG Con and some of the new games we got. We played on our episode last week. We did Eternal Decks, which is really good. We had a borrowed copy from the library. I want to buy that game. It's a really fun cooperative game. So let me work on her eyes. So I'm going to put, I have the wet palette here that I use regularly. This is a small one. It's one I bought in a Kickstarter from, oh man, what is the company's name now? They are, you see I have the lid maybe. I never remember their new name. Game Envy. I have several Redgrass ones from Kickstarters. I have like plenty of wet palettes. I haven't bought any more. Recently, I bought this like a year and a half ago. This one is, I actually got it for this. Let me see if it's in here. I mean, I chose, I almost picked Ninjon's. I like his channel. But I picked it for this silicone palette, which is now much more widespread. But this one was made by TurboDork. And you know, the great thing is they're easy to pop the paint out. These are a little shallow, and I feel like they're big. I've used it a couple times, and it hasn't stained yet. The one that I do use regularly is this one, which is a fidget popper. This one I got on Amazon, Johan and John. It was inspired by me. I'm kidding. So this was recommended to me by Tabletop Minions, Adam Smasher. And what's great about the smaller size of like the fidget popper sizes is it's less surface area. So the paint dries a little slower. It is a problem on the other one a little bit. I'm probably not painting fast enough. I'm using it on these live streams, which is not the most ideal situation to be, you know, I'm talking, I'm not painting consistently. My brush isn't going in there and agitating it a little bit. You can add some water. I don't like to add water to the contrast paints and speed paints because it ends up, for me, changing the nature of the stuff. So I do have like one that I spilled. Hey, board at home. Have this one that I spilled a long time ago. This is Basilicanum Gray. I've spilled 2 bottles of this stuff. This one I spilled, and I think it was on this mat, which I just cleaned, and I think it was, I don't remember if it was on a stream or it was a stream, just might have been a fun one that I was doing with some friends in Germany, and I might have spilled it on that. I feel like I did this on this stream, and I spilled this one. This is a new bottle, and I spilled this one on that when we were painting. So it was a painting thing, a get together with Sebastian's group. They're really great people. I've met several of them. Really, really awesome group. I wish I had something like that here. Now that was when we were, I believe, in the pandemic times. So they were live streaming because they would get together on the weekends. Annie and Sebastian have a great downstairs, basically hobby area that's just fantastic. Last year, or 2 years ago when we were there, when I hurt my foot, I basically was camped down there because I couldn't go anywhere. It was too much of a hassle. Cobblestones are not easy with a knee scooter. And I just loved it. It's so fantastic. Anyway, so I spilled this, and if you notice here, there is no pigment. This is the exact same color, Basilicanum Gray. Notice all the pigment. I wonder if I have another bottle of this. I feel like I do. And then this one. Notice that they look a little different. I don't know. Now that could be just use or non-use. I don't know. This one I think is the one I got. Scott gave me all his paints. He's like, they're not getting used, just take them. And so, but this one, when I put it back in, so as I said, I got it out of the, I think I got the paint like out of this right-hand corner, this silicone mat. And just poured it right back in. But for whatever reason, none of the pigment, like I lost the pigment. So this just basically became kind of a shade, and now it's just super thick. Like, I guess I'm done with it pretty much. I feel like, I think there's a mixing ball in there maybe. But I'm sorry, my head's in the way. But yeah, it's, you know, the contrast paints are really, the contrast paint, speed paints, they all have ingredients, well they generally do, because single pigment ones are not quite as effective. They have ingredients to let it settle and do different shading, and so like the white pigment settle down and give it some shade. I'm confused as far as the white pigments. Maybe they stay above, I have no idea. But they do mess with your zenithal highlight if they have that kind of pigment. I'm going to use, so I did do Loki's gloves with this, I believe, Basilicanum Gray. This is the one, the second one I bought. They look a little gray, which guess what, it's a gray. But it used to be, I felt, a more natural leather color. I don't know if that's the nature. I should try Scott's. His, wait, this is the bad one. I should try Scott's and see if it's any different. It doesn't, he used it though. I mean, I only sing its praises. I think it's a great color, or a gray. But, so I'm gonna do another coat of this at some point. I already painted the black. I need to touch it up, as you can see here. It's not, you know, you don't really need to sweat it. I'm not shooting for anything other than pretty nice table quality stuff here. Far too many to paint to really stress it out. I can actually do a reasonably good job. I don't think I could win an award or anything like that. But I do okay. I mean, here's my, I always show this one. This is one I spent a lot of time on. But you know, it's cool. This was even 15 years ago, maybe longer. Because so I painted all of these. This is from Space Hulk. I painted all of these, and then Scott was like, it'd be good to have painted minis for the Space Hulk game. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just gave him my set. He gave me a full new set of minis. And then we painted the Gene Stealers, and together. It was a group paint. It was really awesome speed painting with Dirk and Scott. And so those are awesome. These are ones I painted, I believe, when I had my fractured heel. So this was, I did this almost, I think I did all of these, maybe 2 of these in Germany. You know, this is pretty good. This is using contrast paints and regular paint. And they turned out pretty good. You know, I mean, they'll look fantastic on the table. But those took a little bit more time. I was obviously focused. I didn't have anything else I needed to do, couldn't get around, so that worked. But you don't have to worry too much. I mean, this was a pretty quick paint job. She looks good. You know, I'm never satisfied with the shields. I'm not satisfied with Captain America's. I'm trying to do something different here because it's a metallic shield, right? So I wanted to put a metallic underneath it, and I don't like it. I feel like I would probably be better off doing that all over white, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's perfectly fine. You know, this one was very quick. I did 3 of these, figured some stuff out. I think I did it all right. Did I do these other ones with the base? Yes, with the superheroes remnants underneath there. And they'll look really cool on the table. I'm not necessarily done with these, but I am kind of done. I don't need to put any, I was going to do some highlights on the armor and things like that, but I'm not going to put too much effort into it. It's not really a big deal. Board at home. I just recently started getting into painting minis, painting the final girl minis. Still have a lot to learn, but enjoying it so far. Well, board at home, I'm glad that you're doing it. It's one of the things we have, many of us have tons of minis that don't get painted in these games. And I have many. I have the full complement. I may be missing a few minis, but I backed every campaign of the Marvel United, and I've also backed the DC United, so maybe I'll get those at some point. But I think they're great. And it's really fun. It's a really great hobby for me. Lets me take my mind off of other things that I'm not really, like, I'm not a too stressful person. I mean, I can get wound up from things. But most of the time I don't really sweat things too much. But it is nice having, I want to use the paint my paint. I don't want to use Scott's. His is probably in better shape than my paint. I don't want to put that up there. I actually got, so when he gave me all, I took all his paints home from BG Spring, because I wanted to buy these. I bought these, the one-step set. I wanted to buy these in Dallas because it meant I could get them and take them home and have them right away. These are from Pro Acryl. So I ended up, he's like, well, if you need paints, just take these. And I didn't want to say no because I knew they weren't going to get used at his place. He keeps talking about, like, you got me wanting to paint again, but you know, it takes time and commitment, and he has got a lot to do. And that's why I'm painting his minis. I'm painting his, and I'm painting another friend of mine's. So, you know, I love them. I think they're really fun minis. I'm a little, I feel like I'm maybe letting myself down a tiny bit because I'm a pretty decent painter, and I tend to let things go, but it's probably because I'm painting 3 of these. But my biggest disappointment, maybe it's just the change. These are so much bigger than these minis. I mean, look at the faces. They're, you know, it's tiny. I can do it. I just feel, well, the biggest, so this, I actually cleaned the mold lines as best. I think I did a pretty good job. I do much better with these. Number one, the plastic on these is harder, and it cleans better than these. But I also am a little frustrated because these are pre-assembled. Now, that's the way it needs to be. I'm going to paint them. A friend of mine that no longer works at Atomic Mass got me a set of this stuff, a bunch of things actually. He actually got me some of the, he got me the Atomic Mass paints that were from Monument Hobbies. And so these are the similar plastic, and they're easier to clean, but look at how many pieces there are. This isn't even everything. Now, this is more like a Games Workshop type game with minis that are in that quality range. So this is all the pieces. You know, I want to build this. I haven't had time. I took it apart and cleaned stuff up, but I haven't had to do a bunch either. These are very nice minis. So that's one of the things. The mold lines are generally better. I mean, as molds probably get older, they might have more, I'm trying to lose Thor's head. They probably get a little bit more gaps in between the mold, you know, because the injection molding is basically 2 or more pieces of metal that go together, and then they inject the plastic. Brian again. But yeah, when they inject them, what they call it's flashing that squirts out between the molds, and you have to clean that up. And these minis, well, we can get critical here. They just have lots of it, and it's hard to clean them when they're assembled. I could attempt, you can see here like this, okay, you can't see it really. This join here is like the cape and the arm, and probably this arm are all one piece, and then the head's probably another piece, then the body's another piece, and then this is glued on here. That's all fine, but it's harder to clean the minis. So there's a bunch of little things that bum me out about these. Regardless, when they're on the table, they look amazing. Long story short, which is really what I was trying to say, they can look fantastic and you don't have to worry about it. As long as you don't sweat them too much. I see amazing paint jobs. There's a guy, so I follow on Reddit, the Marvel United, and I'm in there thumbing people's paint jobs because holy cow. But there's one guy that completely painted everything. He's like, I'm done. He said, except he did back Marvel United, I mean DC Superheroes United, so he's waiting for those too. But holy cow, you know, such a beautiful job. Now, admittedly, he probably has a little bit more dedication than I do, and he focuses, and he's only painting one set. I don't have a problem with this. I actually asked Brian about, like, do you want me to paint yours? You know, he really likes painting, and his daughter likes painting them too. So maybe they'll get back to it this summer. They have a little bit more time as it is summertime now. So I'm going to use my wet palette. I'm trying to sort. I need to put my brushes someplace else. I'm trying to put things to my right hand. I'm right-handed, and I want things easily accessible, and I want the paint on my right. I've been putting everything to the left, and then reaching across the table, or the painting area, so off camera, moving the Mini every time to get paint. I'm like, I gotta stop doing that, but it is hard. I don't have a ton of space here. I have a reasonable amount of space, but I want the paint, like, so they can easily go and leave the miniature. And this isn't just for the camera, it's just the usage. So I have this wet palette, I moved it to the right, which is great, but it's not really working out. I still have to reach. Oh, I also bought the Pro-Acryl one-step medium. It's called Special Sauce. It can, I mean, I bought this a while back. Friends of ours really love the cuttlefish paints, and I bought, I think this is the same stuff. Not the same, a similar idea. Although I did buy two things, so I don't know. One is base medium, primer medium. Okay, so yeah, this one converts paints to the cuttlefish paints to a primer, and this one I believe turns them sort of into speed painty kind of things. This is probably better. I have not used any of it yet. It seems more fluid. I'm eager to try it all out. I really want to see what it offers. This is $20 per bottle. Now it's 120 milliliters, so it's 6. Are these 18 or? I think these are 18. So it's more than 6 times the amount of fluid in these bottles here, and these are 22, I believe. So it's nearly 6 times. Yeah, 22. These guys have a really great, their paints are a really great deal. But I really want to try them. I went for the whole thing. It cost me about 100. Not too bad, really. So I need to shake this up. I don't know why I opened this up. White is the worst. You have to shake them all the time, and you need to keep up on it. And I'm terrible. I started this plan that every month or so, well, once a week, I would shake bottles, paint bottles, come out here for like a half an hour and shake bottles, but not do everything, just like work through the paint collection. Another reason not to have so many bottles of paint. For whatever reason, this paint, I did thin it, so it's more fluid, but it was coagulating, right? I was using the ivory here, and it's way more fluid. Now, something might have changed. Let me see, this is metallic medium. Oh, there's the metallic medium I was looking for the other day. Hilarious. I have 2 of them. I knew it, I knew I had it. That's hilarious. Okay, that's not the white though. Is the white over here? Yes. Let's listen to this one. It sounds fluid. So this one was made in Arizona. That's where their operations are. When I bought this, they were working with Creature Caster, I believe. And so this was made in Canada. Now, doesn't mean, I'm pretty certain that the quality is similar and everything, but they might have changed the ingredients slightly. I don't know, I bought this, I should look it up. I'm positive I have the receipt somewhere. But it's different, you know, it's not, I mean, it's older. It's only different because it's older. So I put a little bit on the wet palette. I do want to get through this bottle. And they have like the gigantic mixing balls in these. Did I put them in here? Yeah, these are the mixing balls. So these are the ones you can, I thought they stopped selling these. I mean, the website is not great. It's not terrible or anything like that, but these mixing balls are the ones I bought that are from Monument Hobbies, these green glass ones. These clear ones are what come in the paint bottles. These are actually, smaller ones are actually pretty great for, I mean, I'm certain they're probably great for all of these because the radius is closer to the bottom edge of the bottle so that you would hit those corners. But it's really good for these. Like, it's still not exactly the right radius, but it is a pretty good job. And so I really love these, but I'm going to extract every single one of the clear glass ones out of the paint bottles when I finish them. And there's one in here. And they've been doing it for a long time. So the first company I think that put mixing balls in was, that I knew of, was Reaper. I think it was Reaper. One of those, gosh, was it Reaper or, but the mixing balls were little skulls, white metal skulls that, you know, they cast when they were casting their minis. It seems like it would be Reaper, wouldn't it? I don't know, I have one around here. I think I have the mixing ball out of that bottle. But paints have gotten so good nowadays, you don't really have to sweat it too much. You just don't want to buy the Amazon. Boy, I put out a lot of paint. It's really kind of frustrating. You don't want, not Amazon, you don't want to necessarily buy the, unless you're doing them for like terrain and things like that, the other kind of standard craft paints. They're just, the pigments are not as finely ground. And it's not terrible. They don't need to be. I mean, I've used those. As a matter of fact, back to this mini, I believe this purple, I could be wrong, but I believe this purple was a craft paint. And it was fine. You know, I was obviously buying, there wasn't as many locations. We don't have a ton of game stores here in the Valley. It's better than it used to be, but it was kind of a hassle for me to go and get paints. I think I've touched this with paint, or that's when I painted it. I got purple on there. And they're fine. It'll be fine, but you just, if you want a better, first of all, experience painting, then you should buy ones. What kind of bottle vibrator shaker do you use? Those are fantastic. It's not, let me allow. So the one I'm using is the I've had this for 7 years or so. A lot of people now have them. I think I've seen it on Ninjon's videos. I don't think he's been doing videos for 7 years. It's the Lab Genius one that they have. As a matter of fact, let me just look at the price. They're not inexpensive. When I bought it, it wasn't terrible. And then, of course, during the pandemic, the prices went up. Now, it may be fine now, but I really like it. It's a very heavy Lab Genius Vortex mixer. I don't even see it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I bought it. Woof! I bought it 9 years ago. So yeah, I've used one for a long time. The reason why I was interested in one of these is I had friends that were both biologists essentially and doing lab work, and they were talking about their vortex mixer and like how it would be good. And so I found this one. I did a bunch of research and found it. $96 is what they charge now. This other one here, it's probably just fine. You don't need to spend a ton of money. This one even includes, looks like mixing balls. So I don't know that they're stainless steel, but for coupon price $32.39, probably worth it. Now the one I really wanted, the reason why I was going for heft was like a real, there's a guy that refurbishes the lab style mixers that are very big and heavy, but they are really rock solid. This one's not bad. Gosh, I cannot believe I bought that. I thought for sure I bought that in like near the beginning of me painting these minis. Oops, knife. But it's great. So I think these shakers are essential. That's part of my whole plan to like get stuff mixed. Scott has one, and I'm probably gonna ask him if I can take it the next time, because I took all his paints, but I'm like, well, that's hardware. He might need it. He might do it, but I don't really want to buy another one. I should just buy an inexpensive one and just use it, because I mean, I think I'm making a mess here. I think I would. I could mix more if I had two of them active, because I really need to keep the paints up. You don't want it. You want them to stay. So what was I watching? A video for? Oh, Stolly, Tale of Painters. He's great. He does full reviews of paint lines. He doesn't get into the details too much. I mean, he does, but he doesn't get into each color. He does mention that if a color across the line, because he'll play, mess with many of them if it's got issues. But he had one, the fluorescent colors, from a German company that's doing these it sounds amazing, but the pigment was like solidified on the bottom, and he could not get it to agitate. Now, I would have opened the bottle and stuck something in there to break it up, but who knows, maybe he did do that. But yeah, kind of frustrating. So the name is the Lab Genius, let me see here. The Lab Genius, I really love it though, but it is a little expensive. That's the Lab Genius mini vortex mixer. And then this one that I'm saying that you could potentially go for is the Oni Lab. I mean, look, 528 reviews, 725, they're all 4.5 stars. These would probably be fine, right? I can't imagine that they wouldn't be. This is more like a lab mixer, but this is not even the real deal. The real deal ones are a huge block. Now, definitely look at the reviews though. I do recall one brand, like the wiring was weird and the shaking ended up cutting the wires and kind of shorted out. I think he was able to fix it, but like you shouldn't have to be fixing these things. I've noticed these are sponsored. I'm always a little wary of the sponsored stuff. Let's see here, is there other brands? I mean, definitely read the reviews. Don't just go blind in. The only, oh, so here you go. Here's a real laboratory vortex mixer. Well, sort of real. I mean, it is real, but it's not as hefty. But look, it's got suction cups. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like these, I mean, hundreds of, these are kind of, Ani Lab is this one here. And like I said, it has mixing balls. But definitely look at the reviews. And look at all the models. If you notice, there's different reviews for this one. I believe they're exactly the same, but you know, color. The one thing about this one, the Lab Genius, is they don't have replaceable silicone top. And I think, you know, because what you do is you press down on it, and that's part of the switch and everything, and that could potentially tear. Now, I've been using it for 9 years and haven't had too many issues, but I'm a little worried. Now, if you're spending $32, maybe that's a little more disposable, sort of. I don't like to just throw any of that stuff out. But who knows? Okay, back to painting eyes. Yeah, I mean, the vortex mixers are great. They really do an amazing job. My elbow was actually getting tired from doing the mixing. Number one, because I'm not painting enough, I'm having to mix more often, right? You need to mix every time, but you don't need to mix as violently if you've just recently used it. This is probably not the brush to use. It isn't. Because you know, you're having to break up that pigment at the bottom of the bottle, and it's not great. You really got to, you want to avoid that being too bad. And like, so for example, I don't think I have the bottle here anymore. I think I finally tossed it. But one of my favorites is the Vallejo metallic metal color, I think is what they call their line. I had one that I used even recently, and then not even that long ago. I'm not kidding, because it was basically one of my favorite silvers, and it coagulated, like fully coagulated. I could not break it down. Now it has, I believe, aluminum pigment. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Now, it's part of the case that I make that don't buy large collections of anything. Now, I only had a couple bottles of that, but my point is, if you have paints that you're not using, it's only just potentially going to be heartache, right? Ugh, I'm now making a mess here. Darn it, I put in too much paint. Let me use a sponge. Just clean that out. So I have what they call a Swedish sponge, which is a cellulose sponge. Woof. So I'm gonna let that dry, but it did a pretty good job cleaning it. I use this instead of paper towels. I believe, I don't remember the YouTuber that introduced me to these. I had never seen them before. But they're great because you don't have to waste paper towels. And as long as it's damp, you can pretty much squish it all out later. And you know what I mean? Like, I use it to, so I have what they call a, never remember the name. It is a Masterson rinse well. And it basically is like those cat water things. It's got an inverted bottle, and it's big. Inverted bottle and a reservoir that you can use to, I can show you the one in the box, I guess, here. Because I bought one for Nikki, but she's not gonna paint. she has her own hobbies and stuff that she's just busy with. But yeah, so this is like the little reservoir. There's a stopper at the bottom that where you push this knob over here and it opens it up. And then this bottle at the top keeps fresh, clean water. Now, I don't use the brush holder. These are pretty hefty brushes. Mine are smaller. But it's really great. The issue is lots of pigment settles in the bottom, in the reservoir, the waste reservoir, right? And I use this, which you can see here today. I didn't do too good of a job of cleaning up, but this is the paint from the other day. I kind of didn't. If I do the cleanup right away, you don't have to. Again, this is the other day, right? Big deal. I'm just using it to clean things. I'm not using color matching or anything off of this paper towel replacement. Man, my phone is just blowing up. Hey, Time Roller. But yeah, these are great. Swedish sponges, I got them on Amazon. Pink's not a great color, but who cares? It's just soaking up paint off my brushes. It's a great place to, like, if you have too much paint, you just put it on here and it will wick the paint off. And it doesn't dry the brush out, right, too much. It actually probably helps keep it wet. Now, I'm not doing as much with this as I would like to be doing because I want to do more highlights like I did on this one. And you can see when I have like a wet brush and I can do these edge highlights and things pretty smoothly. Tiny miniature. It could be the sharp edges of the mini, I don't know, but I have a much tougher time on these giant minis comparatively. So I want to try to really work hard to get the sorry, Brian's very excited. Anyway, so boy, I think I've been using a natural hair brush for some of this. I need to look at this rack. So I have, the storage situation needs to be, I don't know what I've given away paints. Oh wow, there's some of those paints I was looking for. Is this oh, here it is. So this is the color I keep trying, oops, not that one. That one's a great one though. So I decanted some of the paint bottles into Warlock Purple is the color, which is just like a pink to me, but I don't even know if there's any paint in here anymore. But I decanted it into here because it's truly one of my favorites. I have a little Gaslands card that I painted with this that I borrowed. I mean, I used some of Sebastian's. I feel very uncomfortable with that because I don't like using paints. He's very great about recovering paints and getting them to work again. But yeah, I have this brush holder and it should have, so this is a laser cut one from, I have a whole bunch of paint holders from this guy. He's, gosh darn it, he has a magnet and I have it sitting somewhere, I don't know. Because I want to recommend it. I mean, I paid for this stuff, but is this a red grass one? no. This is one of the red grass ones that I got, and I think this is a red grass one. I will try to use this one. Yes, that's another red grass one. I'm going to try to use this finer one here. So I like these little tubes that protect the bristles, but I don't know what this one fell off of. Anyway, too many things, and this doesn't even really, I mean, I have a laser cutter. I could probably make something similar, and probably should, that can actually be a little bit more what I need. I have larger handle. I don't have big hands, but I have bigger hands. So I need larger handle stuff. Okay. So red grass is I mean, this looks like a nice brush, and it's, I'm pretty sure is, I have to clean it. I'm trying to get stuff done. They have some nice things. I love their lamps. I won't buy one. They're too expensive for me. I did buy, and I really like them, I did buy the Game Envy. I have one that I use in the house. The Lucent. It is you can kind of see it here. It's a pretty great, here you go, here's a smaller picture. Smaller diagram, sort of technical drawing. It's pretty great. The red grass ones are really, really cool. And the lighting is a double bar of light together. You know, these are LEDs in, I think it's 3 wings there that you can use. And it does a great job, but the other one really seems like it'd be good. Okay, let me clean this brush. I don't believe I have ever done it. A friend of mine passed away. I'm very sad. I had been talking with him, and I got so busy. I knew he was ill, and I got so busy that I could not even think about it, because, you know, the convention's always too much. And he passed the other day, and I'm very sad. He's a real nice guy. We had actually never met. It's all through on Facebook and our YouTube. He's a fan of the show and was designing games, and just really a neat guy, doing all kinds of cool stuff for his community. And it's really a terrible deal. He was not very old. Really, really, I thought he was getting better. It was really, really a bummer to hear. So yeah, make sure, you know, wasn't like it was a terrible length of time, but I am sad. I would have liked to have known. I would have liked to have spoken with him. You know, he was so ill, he probably couldn't even think about those kinds of things. And he has, of course, family and friends home, but we talked often, and really a bummer. And he was always apologetic, like, I'm so busy. I'm like, don't worry, I'm just as busy as you. Probably not as much as him, because he has a kid who's very young. I think she's just in college. So it's terrible. Okay, so it's all upbeat. I'm not really that upbeat. But let's see here. So I didn't get the corner of his eye. I'm not going to worry too much. It's going into the upper, like underneath the eyelid or the eyebrow here, not the eyelid. And I don't love it, but I'm also not going to try to worry about it too much. So this is the one that was wet. Okay. So you don't want to go in with too much paint. Look, that's a lot of, you can't see it. That's a lot of paint. I'm using my thumb as a palette here. You only need a little. Ugh, that's good. See, that's what that does when it falls out of your hand. Sponge. If you work quickly, you can pretty much clean up any of your messes. This is not so good because I think it might have jabbed the mini. Let's use this here. I got these little, yeah, isn't that coming up? Oops, you can't see. So the scratch is not coming up. Oh, there it is. Wow, it dried that quickly? That's weird. Maybe that was something else. Anyway, so these are little cleaning thingies that I bought a long time ago that work. Let me rinse that actually. I have like 10 of them, but I've only ever used like 3. I had like 10 of them, but I've only reused 3. So I still have 6 of them. They're pretty cool. I've seen other ones like that online and on Amazon and stuff like that. They seem like they're pretty great. Hey Lost Crow, how you doing? Channeling Jason from Monument Hobbies. Ah, well, okay, so me 15. Chad always talk. I've done this forever, and Chad Roberts, who runs our Discord server, great guy. He's always telling me, and I was trying to remember Jason's name the other day. You know, like contact Jason, like to get the paints. I'm like, dude, I don't want to. They gave me paints already. I don't want to ask for more. But I'll tell you, that channel is great. They give you all kind. I mean, even before they were Monument Hobbies, I can't remember the other name. There's a great video for caring for your paintbrush and how to, like, even when you get a new one, because he would, at the time, I'm sure he doesn't do it now, would look at every brush, including the other brands, not just their Baumwick ones, and he would prepare them, and so that you would be getting a brush that was in really great shape. Because often in shipping, you know, or even just manufacturing, they don't get it perfect, and they can't, right? It's too weird. But anyway, so yeah, the thumb thing, he teased me, Chad teased me about the thumb palette thing, but it works. I've done it forever. Now, I know people that use like gloves, which might be a great idea, especially because then you just take it off and you don't have to scrub to get the paint off your hand. I'm not that much often of a painter, so I don't really worry about it, although I do have gloves right next to me, mostly for my 3D printing. Yeah, the thumb palette. But yeah, mixing your paints is, you really want to make sure you keep them. Wow, this is terrible. You know, I'm not going to try to scrape that off. I'm just going to touch it up. Again, you probably won't even see it. Oh, wait, it seems like it started to come off. It is. I'm just frustrated, like how much trouble I have painting these eyes. I cannot believe it. It's not that, they're pretty big in my opinion. But I really like both the Game Envy wet palettes. They're called the, gosh, I keep wanting to call them ambassadors, but that's not the name. And they're not terribly expensive, and the stuff that they sell with it is pretty great. I do believe it's basically baking parchment, maybe, like, or vellum that they use as their film, you know, or their because you're supposed to use like vellum or stuff like that. The red grass ones have what they call a hydration membrane, and those are pretty great too. Okay, so yeah, I can see it's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to put a little bit of gray under there, and then you'll never notice it, because guess what? This is going to be black. You're not going to see it. But I don't watch, I mean, Jason streams a lot, and he's great. But I do watch stuff. I always go back and look at things. So I was watching recently the stuff for these new paints, and really like them. You know what? You definitely don't want silver when you think you want gray. So I'm going to move this over to the side. I love their gray. I use this is the bright neutral gray. It's a little warm, so it's not as neutral as you would think it should be. And I'm also using, this is another crazy thing. I bought these are like my sort of favorite tops for these bottles. Their regular ones are twist tops. And these come on the bottles that you buy. I do wish that you could choose, but obviously it would just be too much of a headache. These are not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. So I think I bought 20 over time. But I love these because it's just, you just take it off and it can still squirt out because of like shaking it. There's a styrofoam-ish, a foam thingy, not styrofoam, gasket inside that, I don't know what the deal is. Sometimes paint just gets up there, maybe an air bubble gets pushed up there and it starts pushing the paint through, and I end up putting way more paint on the palette than I want. But all of their bottles have that problem. Well, I don't have the flip tops. I've never used the flip tops. I'm not a fan of flip tops, even though I use them. I have them, not that I chose them, but they're on my primer bottles. One of them I got, as a matter of fact, it's right here, right? No, it's not. One of them got broken in shipping. Like the top was broken, and it was a miracle because they used a cap, like an inside bottle cap. So this is, well, I replaced it with one that I had that basically fit, but these are the ones that it should be. But this is completely broken. Like the top was, I think, off of it. I can't remember if, yeah, it had to have the bottle still in there. So the little red cap or whatever the plastic was in there saved it from just spilling everywhere inside the package. I guess one of the things you need to worry about, like I think that they have technology to formulations to help with that, but that's why they reformulated all of the turbo door paints, because they were freezing, and freezing is bad for the paint. I think Jason wears gloves, doesn't he? Smart. I think I want to buy more. This is like my favorite gray, and you know, you don't even need to mix gray, right? You don't need to buy gray, right? You can just mix it. But I just love it because it's actually painting these Zenithal projects. It basically is roughly the color a lot of the time of what I need to. Oh man, I just stuck that in the water. What a dope. So I have a little droplet of water on the palette. This is gonna be too dark, so let's put a little black. This is near the end of this black too. Was this in Canada as well? Sure was. So I bought black and white the very first. Now everybody was praising the white. Initially, that's I think how I heard about it. I wonder when I bought this. It's been a long time. You know, 22 is a lot. Now, I use other blacks. Oof, jeez. Gallon of paint here came out. The black, for whatever reason, the pigment is a little more forgiving. It doesn't break down as quickly. Anyway, so I'm going to darken this up a wee bit. The problem is it's in this water droplet. I literally just dropped the paint right next to a water droplet. The water droplet kind of just stands there with its surface tension, holds it in place. Now, I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to do it. So I just don't worry about trying to fix it. It's not quite dark enough now. It will darken up as it dries, but it's really not going to be visible. Okay. And that's really the way I should do this. I shouldn't sweat it. I should focus on just trying to clean up. Clean up is a lot ultimately easier. If you do it quickly though, I mean, I made huge messes like the one I did that I had to clean up with a sponge. Okay, so those are two of them. Let's see if the final one. See how I can do. I cannot believe this. It's so wet. Let me see if I can kind of separate the droplet from the paint here. Yeah. I need to paint a lot of gray because it's very wet. I clean this. So I was saying about the paper in this wet palette. I clean this after every paint session, and it's starting to get weak, but it's not tearing. And I don't paint that much, so I just basically wet the palette paper, clean it off with a brush, and then light brush, and then let it dry. And that's what you can do with, I was mentioning the red grass hydration membranes. Same idea. You let it dry out, the paper gets durable. But I will say, the Game Envy palette papers, I just put that on the eye. Don't worry about it. They're inexpensive. You get 50 in a packet. I have 2 packets. I've used all of 5 in the time that I've had this maybe more, but not much. But I also, good gosh, I'm having a heck of a time here. Gosh, it's drying as we speak if I don't clean this tear off. I don't want to touch that up, but I should get it mostly clean, then touch it up. Anyway, remember, this is going to be black. Wow, I'm terrible here. It's really, you don't have to worry about that. The reason why I was more particular about the papers from Redgrass is they're not easy to get. I don't think I've ever seen any of the, wow, this is terrible, of the new palettes on Amazon. I've seen them on their site, but they don't ship from the US. And that's not a problem. I don't mind ordering from overseas or whatever. But, you know, tariffs and all that stuff make this stuff no fun. And they become, you know, shipping and tariffs become expensive for overseas. I know that they have representatives here, or at least, you know, some. I would imagine that maybe they'll probably get, I'm going to just touch this up, I made such a mess. But I wish that they would be a little bit easier. You know, I mean, we're not the only market in the world for sure. But I do love the Redgrass palette for its seal. As a matter of fact, so here's the seal. I'm using this as the lid because I'm not using the palette right now. I'm using the lid as a place to hold my sponge flattened so that I can use it. And this seal is rubber and, or whatever, and it's does a great job of sealing, sometimes too great of a job. So I basically was having my palette mildew here in California, where mildew's not a terrible problem here in Southern California. So it was a little frustrating. And that basically stopped me from using that palette for a little while, because it used to be no problem. I do not know what the deal was. Maybe just waiting too long. You know, if you paint every day, you shouldn't count on using the paint anyway. It was just laziness as far as cleaning it up, because if you clean it up, you don't have the sponge that's mildewing, and you don't want to do that, especially because I like the Redgrass sponges. I have extras specifically for that, but I had one that I used a long time, and then it mildewed, and I cleaned it as recommended, and it really didn't solve the problem. It just happened again too soon. So I was like, well, there must be mildew in there. And then I had another one, and I put them in the refrigerator. That's where Nikki is the one that taught me about wet palettes. I did it for oil paints, but I never ever thought about that kind of a thing for acrylics. So I had I swear, I think it's some sort of like a butcher's tray or something back in high school and college. And that's exactly what Nikki had. And she put the cellophane on it. So you had a pretty good seal, and you put it in the fridge. And the next day it would be pretty good. And you could use, number one, you could use it to match your color because it's not dry. But the biggest issue is the paint pulls moisture through and it separates the pigments. This is really a bad job here. Separates the pigments, the paint. So it's like, you know, it's the medium from the pigments essentially, I think is what's going on. And they don't look good. And you can kind of mix it up if you wanted to touch up something. Oof, boy, I really hit that water. This is bad. I need to clean up this mess of the gray. If I could have only seen that had a drop of water there, I would have been in good shape. But now it's just a huge mess, and it's spreading on the palette. So basically, the wet palette, I'm just wicking it up. It was a huge pool of gray here. And I'll just wick out the color. Now the black is the one that stains. You can see here the black paint has stained this many times. But it's pretty reasonable. It's not terrible to do. And I also use one of those squirt bottles, these bottles here, to like irrigate the palette. What is my water cup? I'm using the, if you're talking about the Masterson, this one here, this is a Masterson rinse well. It's pretty great. There are other ones online, and Amazon has many of them that are only like $12 or something. These were not terribly expensive. Bebo recommended it, and I was like, wow, that's a great idea. It is like a pet water thing. It's not full area, but the other little ones actually are pretty great. I've read some reviews. I keep thinking about buying one, but I really don't need it. But they're much smaller. They're basically like a cheese block, maybe. You know, it's probably 3.5 inches by 7 inches with a smaller reservoir on top of it that you just keep refilling, but it drains into the box, so it's actually got a pretty good volume, way more than the bottle that sits on it, and you should be in great shape. Okay, now I need to do more gray because I cleaned it all up. Still wondering if the gang will ever get back to playing Lord of the Rings. Nah, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. Stewie, I would love to paint those. Again, more minis to paint. It would be, we did that with Chaz and Rodney, and you know, they're not doing great right now. And they also don't live here. Chaz is up in Pacific Northwest and Rodney's in Canada. That was a fantastic episode. I had a really great time. And I would love to do more of that, but it's just, the problem is that we have so many other games that we want to focus on. We're still kind of always behind on games that we want to do, and we sometimes don't get to them. There was a game recently that it became so long that it wasn't really worth doing it anymore. Ooh, it's too dark. Because we still would like to do, I mean, I would like to do some Marvel United. We might do one for the DC one here that's out. Because the game itself, I don't know when DC Superhero is the one, if and when it'll ever come out, the campaign. But we have the, wow, I really did a terrible job here. But I do have the Hush, Batman Hush, which is really cool. I don't know that the game's that different, but we did it with Dave, I think. Maybe it was Aaron, I don't remember. It was Mike. Can't remember what Dave played with us. Oof, that's terrible. Yeah, it's kind of gray there, dark gray. Now, I don't know why I'm worrying about it. The black will cover this up. I just don't want it, I do want it to be some of the shading to peek through, so we'll see how that goes. The top down froze. Okay, let me see here. It is stopping. What a weird deal. Let me switch to me here. I wonder what's going on with the top down. I thought it was working. It does seem to be doing some weird stuff here. So let me go to that. Let me turn off one of the devices. So it's HDCP, which is how these HDMI cables communicate. It's a copy protection, I think. I mean, HDCP sounds like HD copy protection, right? Let me cut back to it and see if that'll work. Hopefully. Let me know, keep me posted. So yeah, it's a problem. It's not great. Oof, that's really kind of shoddy. Let's see if I can do a tiny bit of touch up and be satisfied with it. I have like a method, so I honestly feel that it's not consistent. Like, I'm like, oh, I gotta turn this on and this on, and then I have a problem with it after I know it's worked before. So I think it's just the fussiness of HDCP. Basically, the machine we're using to stream with has SDI connections. That is a broadcast standard kind of thing. That looks pretty good. And so we use an adapter to convert our HDMI cameras to SDI. We do have one camera that's kind of low-grade professional that we use. That's usually our top-down camera when we're live streaming, and it's also our top-down camera for it has an adapter, a mount on it that is too big for us to use because it makes it bulky, that lets you run SDI directly out of it. So I'm not certain how that circuit works, and I guess obviously that there's just a different circuit for that versus the circuit for the HDMI. And so you get, okay, I've never actually, I think we used that maybe once, but we didn't really use it because we set up the studio with HDMI cables running into the studio, into the mixer. Gosh, what is that? It doesn't seem right, does it? Did we use, I don't know, I feel like we have HDMI cables running and we didn't, it can't be, because we have these things convert to SDI from here. So there's a rack that leads them all to the control room, and they're all it goes directly in. I think we might have to use some. Oh no, we were worried that ours needed to use little adapters like to SDI small, whatever the small format one is, and I believe I bought 4 or 5 adapters for that. Like, I don't remember what my thinking was on that, and it ended up not being a problem. And this brush does not look great. Now this one's never been used. I have another one elsewhere. This is a 2. I don't, it's the Sable, I mean, they're not getting it off of living animals. So it's a little kind of annoying to use it. I have a reasonable amount, but I have many, many more synthetic brushes. I did see that Squidmar had a pre-order for, I don't think they did a Kickstarter or anything like that, for their brushes that they're manufacturing, I think with DaVinci, which I would love to try those. I don't have any DaVinci brushes. I think I've used one of Sebastian's in Germany. They're made in Germany. So basically what I'm going to do is just try to work this point. You don't really want to twist the bristles too much, but I'm just working it to give that little tip. And I'm going to let it dry. And hopefully that'll bounce back, because I've never used it and it really did not look good in there. Hold on. You also got to watch out, right? You don't want it to catch, I've had it happen where you catch one of the bristles in the thing and it folds over, and that's not great. Let's see here. Do you have optical? Do your cameras have optical sources? So what do you mean by that? We use, of course, digital cameras, but they do have pretty good lenses. The nice one, so the one that we use that's the got SDI outputs on it, is essentially like a camcorder, and it doesn't overheat. the one that we use for our down camera when we film overheats, and so we have to run a duct of air conditioning to it to keep it cool. And so that was kind of a hassle. It kind of sort of hobbled our air conditioning in here because we have a little duct that's in front of the vent on that thing. The air conditioner still works, and it also kind of guides it to the table. But it's one thing we got to keep dealing with. I understand lots of games. Awesome. Too many. You're correct. Oh, I see what you're saying. Fiber optic. There is definitely those sources, and I believe it's still an SDI standard. I'm not really sure. I mean, we're not doing a massive run. You know, we're 25 feet or something like that. But if you were doing a massive run, you would definitely want to use optical. I did some research on it. I was also doing some research at the same time to connect the house to the studio with fiber optic for our internet. But I think we get a pretty good, most of the time, pretty good connection. Our internet has been great. I think we've been using this for 10 years now with fiber, and you know, to the house. But it would be awesome because, you know, you want to, it would, you know, zero loss in speed. But I feel with a gigabit of, you're not going to lose too much between the house and the studio. Okay, so let's mix some, what is it on her necklace? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Oh, I can't even see her necklace. I see a little bit of it there. I'm looking at the pictures that Big Child Creatives did. It looks like it's just round beads right here that are the same kind of color. But yeah, it's like it's on sand or something like that. It looks pretty good. But you can, if you look at the 3D printed model that they used to do the campaign, the base is nothing like it. It's so different. Not nothing like it. It does this stuff. The shield and the blades of plant here look very similar to what the 3D print was. But yeah, you can see here, this is another piece that's stuck on, right? I do wish you could break it free. I mean, you probably could if you worked out, but I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to break any arms. I've already dealt with, like, so Iron Man has his broke on the base because it was so lightly attached, and so I had to pin it for it to hold, and then I had to fix one of the Sentinels. Those were over here. I don't know where they're at now. That had broken in shipping, which was frustrating, but I did a nice job pinning it. So I think I did that on a stream. Hey, Sirik. There we go, Siri. Cancel. Cancel. It's annoying. I need to turn that off. See if I can turn it off. I never use it on. She's not going anywhere. I need to stop this thing. Boy. Okay. I never use those. I mean, I use a little bit of that stuff, but I very rarely do. Okay, so this band on her leg is black. It's got this texture. Yep, or maybe that's like a gray. This band here. So I usually work in and out. So she doesn't have, you know, much of a face. So we can do the black or the gray that I'm talking about. Let me clean this palette out a little bit though, because I don't love the little bits of, I have more probably of the Games Workshop stuff. Well, they don't have as many paints, but colors in the speed paints as the contrast paints. But the little flakes are particularly egregious on the speed paints because they don't, there's a weird, it starts to dry on the bristles and then it breaks off these little shards of the paint, and it's a little frustrating. I don't know if I screwed up this palette or if it just was distressed from the get-go. I really should rotate it so I don't use that corner because it's got a, the silicone has broken down and it's, the paint just really clogs there, and it's, you know, it's dry and then it's little teeny chunks of paint. This actually cleans very well if I would do it in sync. So when I clean this green here, it was still a little wet, and so there was a little bit at the bottom, but it would have been a much cleaner pull if I just let it completely dry, but it was at the end of my paint session there. So a little bit of the, let's just work on her head first. We're going to use the Basilicanum Gray. Thought I had it out. I do. I do. I always feel bad about that. Not your problem. I need to turn it off. I got to go into the settings and see where it's at, because I do absolutely don't use it on this machine. We have the other one, the Amazon one, trigger all the time as well. We're watching a movie or something, we'll see it, hear something and it sounds like it. I can't remember, one of them was hilarious to us, and it repeated. It did it a couple times, and I think it realized that it wasn't a call. But yeah, we have so many games. We have so many games that we want to feature. We just brought back more from BGG-Con. Some of them were games that we had returned and then brought back because we still want to do them. I'd really hoped when we filmed the other day that we had extra people. I was hoping that we could film a couple of the larger, like we have sort of kind of party-ish games, but we just couldn't do it. We did everybody was worn out, and I do not blame them one bit. And so I just called it. But it would be great to do them. To be frank with you, I don't like having too many people in the studio because it actually, I don't want to put it in that same one. I'm going to do it over here. Well, I'm going to do it there. It's too noisy for me. Like, I listen to the mix, and it's very hard on me. I don't love it. Actually, I think I need more of this color. I'm going to go all in. One of the things I do sometimes with these paints is I will highlight the miniature. Let me see, I have this one here that's kind of one of the earlier ones that I had done like this. But this is dry brushed. But I dry brushed her hair before I put the contrast paint on. If it would just focus. This thing never ever helps me in camera. And then I put the contrast on. So this one, you know, the dry brushing is a little bit different, and I'm old school kind of on it, where I'm not as, the newer techniques have a lot more moisture in the brush for the dry brushing. I'm trying to get good at that. But yeah, you do that underneath, and then you paint the color over it. Let me see if this one, there's another one right here. Same thing. This one I actually brushed. And you can see I did some little curls on the bend there, and some over here, and then I did her part. And then I just painted it over it. It looks pretty good. You don't have to, it does a pretty nice job, and it is quick. Okay, so I need contrast medium. I do not want it to be full blast dark. Now this looks darker than the stuff I did the other day. I don't know. I used one of the newer ones, I think, unintentionally. Another reason why I kind of want to move on, I'm loving painting these, but I want to paint some other stuff. I do like making decisions about what color I'm going to paint things, but for these, I'm trying to make them recognizable, and if I go too crazy, I mean, I do make some choices. I think I gave Gamora a reddish hair because of the Avengers movie. She had reddish hair, so I was like, I'm gonna do that red. I don't remember what color it was. I should look it up, but I don't remember what color it was in what they painted, Big Child. But I love it, regardless. They're both cool. Okay, so this is gonna probably be too thin now because I've just put a lot of stuff on it, but let's find out. This is not the brush I want to use for that. So this is a 2, and it's this is these inexpensive brushes that I bought, but it's considerably shorter, that's fine. But it feels like it's a pretty hefty, I don't know, there's a difference here, but it's too short in my opinion. You can't really see, but they're okay. They're okay brushes. I really should cycle through them more quickly because they're not, they're not expensive, and I don't like waste because I don't like, these are plastics and all that stuff. But I can use them for other things. Yeah, it's too thin, too light of a color, but we're gonna go with it. Maybe it'll be enough. So one of the things that they recommend is applying it actually kind of wet. Like, you don't have to be too, boy, it's really not looking very great. And then you just work out the pools. You don't want too many pools because you end up having too dark of areas. And you don't want to work it. It's already starting to coagulate. You don't want to work it too much because then it starts to the film breaks, tears, and then you have like a weird spot, which you can cover up. I've been able to do it. I don't love to do that kind of thing on the capes, but you kind of move quickly and then worry about the tiny parts that are close to other details afterwards. As best you can, because it's really best to get all in one go. I don't want to get too much on the collar. We'll see, there's a wet pool right there that's going to be weird. There's a pool in the the valley here. I don't want it to be like that. Let that go. Okay, this is very dark underneath here. It's not even going to be really noticeable, but I will put it on. One of the reasons why I want to start, kind of want to creep up on the final shade of the color here, the gray, is I want it to, it's very, very light here. So I'm probably gonna have to apply, and I'm having bubble issues here, I notice. Not great. Or bits, see, this is the thing. I need to clean this palette. I don't think it's clean enough. So there you go, I've just torn it, I just painted that. You don't wanna do that. Let it dry. It's not a big deal. We can put additional layers on. We can make it super dark and you never even notice it all, but I do want the shading to kind of peek through. That's the whole point of the zenithal. But you end up you end up needing to, oh, look at that, the valleys are too wet. So let me wick the brush here and try to suck some of that out. It is kind of the weirdness about this stuff. Now I am, again, using the medium, so it's going to change the nature of the shade. Head in the way. Anyway, we'll let that go. I do love the Batman one. Let's see, here's one I did. Same paint, but it looks more, now this kind of looks more like the Batman Crazy 1989, where it's kind of like a rubbery thing. But see, it's much more smooth. Now there's a spot right there that it didn't do a very good job. Let's see if I can touch that up. I do believe I varnished this already though. Here we go, let that dry. You know what, I'm gonna probably do this one a little bit darker. I'm gonna go back a step or two. So, let's put in some of the color. I don't usually mix with the brush, the bristles. I usually use a stick or something like this. So what I do most of the time is I just use the end of the brush. That way I don't damage the bristles more than they need to be. They're already going to get beat up pretty much. I guess it's playing music. I see it. It's quiet, huh? Huh, okay. I could definitely get weird messages. The messenger from Apple, I'm getting spam. It's annoying. So I'm basically working right now to see if I can go. See, I got some already over there where I touched it. Ooh, too wet. But you can keep working it around to try to reduce the pool. But look at this, it's got a weird bits of stuff. I'm not sure what is going on there. You know what? Some of it is on the Mini. So it's not coming up. So it's potentially plastic that I didn't clean, which is a bummer. Because it's definitely not coming up. Okay. So I have a cape here of one that I did a bunch of shading on, that I did the base coat with the, boy, I don't remember which color it was. It might have been one of the speed paints. Immortus is the Mini. It's right over here, theoretically. So I did this where I actually shaded it. So I think I used a standard paint I painted the one color, which is the darker purple. Then I used a standard paint. Oh, I know what I used. I used one of the fluorescent colors to then brighten it up, and I kept layering it. And then I put the color back over it. And there's a little spot there that's not great. But it looks pretty cool. And you can do the same kind of thing. You use a gray or something like that for the black. But you can do something like that, and it's pretty great. You get pretty fantastic results. You know what? I didn't notice that fold there. Definitely have to let it dry before you decide to put any more on. I need to touch up some of this into the collar there because this brush is just not great for it, but it should be fine. Especially if I wait for it to dry, then I'll be happy. But you definitely work with this paint being much more fluid. And it will settle now, as you can see here though. It's these great smoother surfaces is a challenge for these kind of paints. Now I could airbrush this color on because I am using the undercoating. So if I did a lighter coat, I'm not going to airbrush it on, but you could, because these are actually pretty great for shading and stuff with airbrushing. Eesh. But on Immortus, I wanted to do a better job on the cape. Is the one thing I feel that I'm not satisfied with on these, with the speed paints. I'm trying to make it easy, right? I don't want to take too long with anything. Boy, it's really spraying paint. Yeah, it's weird. Is that coming off? It does. So there are some things that are on there. I don't want to mess with that because it will tear it, and it's already probably not great. So let's do the underside. Let's move these out of the way. bodysuit here, which is fine because it's going to be on there anyway, but I prefer not to get it on there. Of course, it's their back. You're not going to really see it, but let's see if I can get that off. It's in the shadow. You'll never see it. There we go. Pretty good, though. Okay, so that's got to dry. These other ones are a long way from really being completely dry. Hey, Amanda. Okay, so here's one of the first ones I painted. Does not look great, but I'm not going to touch it till it's really dry because it will mess it up. The underside looks great. Don't put too much highlighting on is really the big takeaway from this. And that's probably fine. So I'll end up making it almost as dark as it would be fully the full color. Okay, let's see here. I would like to paint that though. Maybe I can paint the shield. Or the grass, so I'll do the grass. So, somebody was recommending, which Jason does, Monument Hobbies, he uses the airbrush to dry the paint. I can do that. Let's see how it goes. I have a quiet compressor over here that I don't use nearly enough. I wish I used it more. It does work, boy, I'll tell you, it's already pretty dry here. So look, there's a little globule of paint that settled coming down from the scoop. Frustrating. And I didn't catch it right, it was too wet. Then I set it straight down. I will do this, I'll dry it up. I'm going to touch up around the collar and then I'm going to do another coat. Okay, let's turn that off. It's a great compressor though. Uh-oh, what did I do with the cow? There it is. Derp. So, I'm going to use a small brush. I do not think I want to use the one. They claim that you shouldn't use natural bristles with speed paints, contrast paints. I'm not certain what that's about. Maybe because you're poking the bristles like I was talking about, you tend to poke the paint into the recesses and stuff. It's way more haphazard. So here's an example of something I probably would have done first. I might have done the collar first. Although I can do okay with it. It's just I'm not doing black, so yeah, it's really not great there. You can see it. Let's focus on it. So this basically dripped down from the cape and then settled on that. It looks pretty great otherwise, at least on the underside. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll do another coat when that's completely dry. Let's do another one. Airbrush it a little bit here. So the compressor actually does a really great job. I think I bought it a year ago, but I've barely used it. I just have not had that much time. wonder if I can put that on it. I sure can. So this is still very wet here where I'm drying this. It's not great. So there's little hairs. That's definitely from like dust or something. But this is what you want to try to catch, is the little bits, the little pools of color. So that looks pretty good. It didn't do the little pooling there. It's not perfect there. I see that it looks like I didn't get a coat of it right there on the tip maybe. But it looks pretty good dark. This one's mostly dry now. Part of it is that you can't see, there's another pool of this stuff that I didn't get. That one's good too. I didn't get that little pool of paint settling down there. It's starting to dry, but it's definitely a pool of color there. And that's where you get the coffee stain, or tide marks is what I've heard people call it. I'm not sure. I've always, the coffee stain is, but we've always called it. The other thing is that now this is still wet, you can see it, but some of these it's just a little bit of a sheen that is left because too much paint. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a big pool underneath there. I don't want to put any paint underneath though. I'm already feeling that, other than where I missed a spot, and that is the one. Let me just touch that up real quick. Okay. It definitely is potentially a case. I mean, there's fibers everywhere. My clothes have pieces of fiber coming off on it, you know, from it. It's not great. And this paint is odd. So let's put another coat. Let me wet the bristles a little bit and dry them off. knocking her down here. So I'm putting it on a lot less aggressively because I don't want pools at all, which might mean I should be a little bit less aggressive when I'm just doing it in general. The problem is, of course, it's going to spread better on a previously painted surface where it is now a similar, I mean, they're both acrylics, but I don't know what the medium, how it works on these. It looks better already, so maybe another coat or two will get me where I want to be on it. But I'm already doing, but you know, it's these large surfaces, it's always a problem. I have a Space Marine over here we'll look at and see, and I've only ever done the one coat on it. Yeah, this is the one that has that little drop. It's bad. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but it's still a bummer. That already looks a little better. One more coat will probably do it. Let me look at Batman, where I did that one. It's shinier, but when I put the varnish on it, you probably won't see it as much. You won't see it as much. It was getting rid of that spot there. So this one still has a wet pool here that I'm afraid to disturb. And so does this one, but let's just go with it and not. I'm not putting as much paint on, so let's just start right there and see what we get. I'm going to try to avoid that wet area. Boy, it kind of dripped over here where I painted the underside. Paint's almost dry. Okay. Should have put more paint in here. Just going to go with that and stop right there and then put more paint into the palette. I'm going to probably clean this up a little bit. See if I can get the paint to be a little... One of the things I do is I kind of squeeze the paint, get it a little damp, and then squeeze the paint out of the brush before I put it into the, actually I do it with the damp towel, sorry, first. To squeeze as much paint out before I go into the water because the water just immediately becomes black. See this paint, this is one of the things about this paint. It's lots of little layers. Now this is, I feel better than the speed paints because it's just a film. It's not little shards of paint that dry on each of the bristles, but I am going to absolutely clean this out. So let me invert this towel so I don't get black all over my fingers. It's pretty good there. Let me get a dip of water in there. Do you use a paint booth when using an airbrush? I absolutely do, Meeple 15. Behind me on my left over here, you can see the little white. Let's go over here. There it is. That is a spray booth that I have. I also paint outside. I haven't been doing painting outside as much since I have the booth kind of set up all the time now. But I do have that one little compressor that I use. Actually, you kind of can't see. You can sort of see the spray booth there. I have this compressor that I use to do stuff outside. Just walk around and do it and let it blow around. You definitely don't want to breathe the paint. I one time purchased an airbrush that I wanted to use to undercoat paint. Was not an expensive airbrush. Came home to try it kind of immediately for a second to see what its spray kind of like was. Literally no more than a minute, and I was already kind of like breathing the paint. You need indoors, if you don't have air movement with like this spray booth, you need to wear a mask. You need to wear not just a mask, but you need to wear a respirator because it's terrible. You don't want that crap in your lungs. And it was dumb. Literally 1 minute, I thought, oh, I'll be fine. You know, like, nope. Definitely make sure you have something. Okay, I need a new paper towel. I did get a new, so I have a Scottish pegboard here. And I purchased, I 3D printed as a matter of fact, I can show you one of the pieces here. I 3D printed this arm that mounted, this is the Scottish piece that I found on Thingiverse, I think. And it works pretty good. This is great. This is resin, super solid. Actually, here's the two pieces. The problem is the dowel. So it has this space for a dowel, and I have a pretty good sized dowel, but it still pops out. I wonder if these are like distorted. No, it looks like it's correct. Resins, you know, any 3D printing, they end up getting distorted generally. We'll see. Buy a new printer, we'll see how that one works. But I ended up buying something from Amazon where it came with like 3 or 4 of these things, but it works great. It's metal, it mounts in the Scottish. It's not perfect, but Scottish doesn't have a paper towel. You know, IKEA doesn't have a paper towel holder, dispenser thingy for that stuff. And any of the other ones, I printed like, so I printed this. There's a towel rod for the towel. It's fantastic, it's really solid, but everything else just kept breaking. Like I would have it on there overnight, next day it'd all be on the floor. I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. And I was like filling it in differently and stuff, but it just doesn't work, at least in my situation. I really need to clean this palette seriously in the sink. But yeah, fibers from the paper towel could be getting in the paint. All these things you just don't want. Okay, a little bit more of the, that's Black Templar, not that one. The silicon gray, shake it a little bit more. But yeah, paint booth is great. I wish I had room for it, but Ninja did a video, I think last week, where he had a couple of expensive accessories. One was a sanding tool that was like an oscillating sander, little, you know, with different heads. It would look kind of cool, but I'm sure it's too expensive. And I'm not doing resin printing where he felt like it was really, really helpful. But the other thing he showed was a waterfall spray booth that catches the paint and then puts it into a reservoir. And so you have to clean the water out. But I've been looking, there was another guy who did a video of a much bigger one. You know, nothing I would ever buy too darn big. But same idea. And he said this one was like $450 or something, which is not terrible. It's expensive. But you know, if you can do it in the house, he claims that it's always, I don't see that much particular. I don't think it has 2 fans though, but it's a pretty hefty duct on that one. And I have it vent outside. I can actually vent it outside, but if I was in a cold space, he wasn't venting his outside. That's part of the issue. This new one can vent because he's in a space that he can't get to the outside to vent it. So this new one really works for him, and I would be very, hey, well, it's not empty, but I'm running out of paint too. I would really like to have something like that, but I really, really don't need it. I'm not painting enough. If I was doing more artistic stuff besides just priming and the occasional coat, then I would probably consider it. And he has an air purifier nearby as well, which I probably should put in here. might be helpful. You know what? I do not want to. I want to put more gray on here because I don't want to do as much clear medium. Keep getting it on the edge here. I do wish I could just get it in there without any of this brain damage, because this is where the flakes come from. See right here on this edge. One of the places, the other place is this here. Ugh. Okay. So, a little bit of a clear medium, not much. So going way back, what was the towel you said you were using rather than a paper towel? Oh, this is called a Swedish towel. It's cellulose and paper, I think. It's pretty darn durable. They come in packs of like, I mean, I think these are $8 for 10 maybe or something like that, but they're not very big. Let me, you can put my hand on it here. Let's zoom out a little bit. They're pretty great. Twisted the camera. I need to get this tightened up again. But yeah, it's not very big. You can use them in the kitchen. They dry out really fast. I mean, that's really what they're for. But they're great. They're great. I really, really am so happy because I don't like wasting so much. So I'm clean up all kinds of things with them, and I don't have to waste a paper towel. You know, whatever, it's just paper, but it's trees, and you know, I don't know how much recycling we get done here in the United States, and I don't think you're gonna recycle paper towels. But these Swedish sponges are pretty great. Now, I don't know, I mean, how great is that for the environment? I don't know. It feels like you know, it's kind of like a regular sponge, but thin. I think they're Swedish sponge. Let me look at it. They could be Swedish towels. I did buy them on Amazon a while back. I tried to buy them. I actually was hoping that IKEA would have them because then they would probably have neutral gray ones, but they did not. And they had some really nice ones that we ended up buying for Nikki for the kitchen. Okay, Swedish dishcloths maybe? Dishcloths, there you go. So there's the ones I bought, $6 for 10. I'm sorry, this one here. The other ones look like they might be better colors. $17. I had no idea. I've also purchased these. These are the ones for Nikki's in the kitchen. $10 for 6. But they're pretty great. $15 for this 10 pack. I would, you know, be happier with them not being, you know, I feel it's Swedish dishcloth, so there we go. I didn't give you the exact right name. But they're good. I don't know about using them. I mean, Nikki uses them in the bathroom, not the bathroom, in the kitchen on the, to clean up the sink and everything, so probably good. So I wonder, Trader Joe's Miracle Towel, gotta check that out. We don't go to Trader, we were actually by one last night. We have them all over the place, but we were out specifically to go get pizza last night. I'm like, let's go get pizza. I felt like I could have some, and we get out to the place and it's closed. And I should have even thought, is it open on Monday? Another place that we really love to go to is never open on Monday, and we always want to go on a Monday. Not a pizza place. Anyway, so we were right, it's right next door to a Trader Joe's that we often go to. And so, but because we don't go that often, Dave is really a fan of Trader Joe's. He actually listens to the podcast, is excited about new products. I mean, I think what happened to Nikki and I is we used to go all the time, and like things that the joke is that we are harbingers of failure. It is an actual term, and we are the harbingers of failure because the things that we love don't last. They used to have this, I think it was called Azteca black bean dip. Now, I believe that was around for a little while, but once we started getting into it, it didn't last that long, and we kind of got frustrated. It is kind of neat how many different things they have, and the prices are pretty great. I need to look at that though. But you know, Aldi owns them. One of the Aldi chains owns them because there's two brothers that split up, I think, over selling cigarettes. One of them did not want to do that. I kind of like the Aldis better in Germany, but we have gone to one over near us that's been here for a while, but we don't go really very. I've only been there like 3 times. I went with Christoph because he needed something. But you know, it's not a complete replacement for the grocery store, unfortunately. But a lot of people go there, so I mean, I'm pretty certain it would be the same people that own the Aldi, that own Trader Joe's here, right? Same ones have the one in the United States. But it was cool. Now did I put any in there? I don't remember. I might not have. That's okay though. I'm gonna just go with the dark for the capes. Maybe put a drop or 2. I don't know. Whatever. Let's go for it. But Dave will often bring us things that he didn't really care for. He is not afraid to return things if he doesn't like it. And I think that they have kind of a return policy, sort of like Costco has. I don't know, I've never returned anything. I've rarely returned anything to Costco unless it was broken or we didn't need it. Like it didn't work, something was wrong with it. I think I also do a lot more research before I buy than Dave probably does. But like if you're buying food, you don't know that you're gonna like it. I mean, I can't tease him because I pay attention to things that kind of inform me on what to buy. But I don't necessarily listen to a podcast of it. I do watch some YouTube videos, and I was talking about that waterfall spray booth. Something I would love to have, but I'm not going to buy. I really don't have the room. I basically need to set up another work surface over here to my left, because I have a laser cutter there and a 3D printer there. Yeah, I'm actually kind of afraid. So I ordered another 3D printer, and it's probably big. I have no idea how big it actually is, so hopefully not too big. Oh, something I missed there on the cape. Multiple coats, and I missed that. Wow. Let me look at these. Did I get these? The fold of the fabric. Looks pretty good. Oh, it's almost 1. We ended up going to another pizza place last night, though. It was very good. We'd been there before. We've been there twice. Dave also recommended another of their locations, or a New York place that has some branches here in Southern California. And we'd gone once and brought the pizza home, actually to Daryl's place to play games. And it was good, but you know, I don't think pizza really, if you're gonna bring it home, you wanna let it sit and then reheat it. But we had we wanted a mushroom pizza. There's a couple different ones in the area that have really great ones. And I'm like, do they have one over there? And Nikki's like, I think so. So we went and got that, and it was very good. Lots of basil on it. It was delicious. So, And none of them have red sauce. It's so funny. 3 pizzas without tomato sauce. Now they're not regular mushroom pizzas, essentially. Well, boy, that has a couple little dollops of paint that settled into it. See if we can kind of conceal it a little bit. I doubt it, though. If I can make the sheen similar, it might not be as noticeable. Again, I'm looking at it upside down, right? Should I worry about it? Probably not. Well, there you go. That's pretty good. They look good, and I'll probably do some edge highlights on them so that they don't just look black. It's unfortunate because it's not really what I wanted to do. Oh, you know what? I don't think that's accurate. The cape should go up to that point. Did I not do that on any of them? That one's more correct. Let me see if I can do it real quick. With a big fat brush. You can actually do pretty great detail as long as the brush has a good point. And many brushes can have a great point, even a larger one. Is that the cape going there, or no, it's got to be the collar. Cool. Trader Joe's Miracle Towel. I need to look that up. If I squeeze a bunch of the paint out before I put it in the water reservoir, it's very little paint. You know, I squeeze it, then get it wet, and then clean it out a little bit more, and then go into the water reservoir. It's not as, it doesn't matter. I mean, we do need to conserve water here in Southern California, but I'm not using that much water. It's not gallons of water. It's like less than a quart per setup, and I don't even get through that. You can't really see it in here, but I had cleaned a brush recently, one of the speed paint ones, and it just had all these little shards of the paint that were like stuck to each bristle. Very weird. Different medium, obviously. Okay. We had we've had a couple emails recently about companies kind of stopping. One of them's not bad. So Nikki and I really love this stuff, Calamity Ware, which I've been backing on Kickstarter for more than 10 years. We have a full set of the stuff. We have all kinds of stuff that he did, Don Meyer. They sold the company, and they're not going to end the brand, but and he'll probably still design stuff for him, but I don't know if people were just tired of it or if they decided to sell. I don't know. But we really like that stuff, and I know they're going to deliver it, but we're waiting on the one thing I'd asked for with the dishes forever was a gravy boat and a butter dish, and that's the last thing that he did. It's not. I think he did another campaign since then, which I still haven't received. I think those are ramen bowls. But very strange. Okay, now I want to clean this brush. I don't think I did a good job on it. It kind of looks a little raggedy. I don't know who manufactures these. They're all basically in Europe that do, and there's some Chinese ones. One that I had purchased, actually no, one that I had looked at purchasing that looked pretty good, and then Ninjon did a video about it, and I went to look, and I'm like, oh, they're all sold out. The ones he bought, that's correct, there's what happened. I bought another pack of them, and then the ones he recommended, which he thought were pretty darn good. Not necessarily the level of, gosh, what's the brand here? I've got them. I can remember everything else about it. Oh, Artis Opus. Didn't even have to look. Those brushes are pretty nice too. I've been using one that I have right here, but I also bought a whole set. These are the 2s. These are pretty great. I probably, ouch. I don't want to use these for I'm not doing enough standard acrylic to really judge them. But it's a nice, and Byron, I think, is the guy that does the YouTube. He uses these brushes to do contrast paints too. So I shouldn't sweat it too much as long as I'm not really beating the heck out of them, because they're a little expensive. I think it was $120 for like 6 brushes. Now I got the box, which I don't need. I mean the case. Came in this wooden case, Series S, and I bought 2 2s. Oh no, it's only 5 brushes. 5 brushes for $120. That's a lot. And there are some triple aughts and double aught and a 0. So I have 2, 1, 0, double 0, triple 0. I should try some more of these. What is this? Oh, this is the brush soap that they recommend. They're neat. I mean, it's cool. I think I discovered these a long time ago. Actually, I think the first thing I saw from them was their painting, their miniature cabinets. Oh my gosh, I really should. I don't have wall space, that's why I didn't buy them. I think we're done here. Let me see here. Yeah, $12.49. So let me switch over. Their miniature cabinets, they have lighting you can do in them. They're laser, I think they're laser, they're probably milled. They're probably milled, multiple layers of plywood. They look amazing. They're like kind of like modern, retro kind of thing like that I like. And that's how I found out about them. And I think Cult of Paint is the other group that they're involved with. I think it might be a sub-brand of Cult of Paint. I don't know. They had airbrushes. That might have even been another way I found out about them. I think I saw those cabinets first and did not back them. And maybe Ninjon talked about those. I don't remember. Somebody talked about them and I was like, or I saw their video. I don't know. I mean, I watched Ninjon, but I'm not like that great about keeping up on it, so I don't know if it would have been there. But man, those cabinets are neat. But anyway, so I found their brushes. I did not buy their dry brushes, and I do wish I had. Again, it's expensive. I don't necessarily need it. I have some reasonable dry brushes now, and when I need to replace them, I'll probably consider that. But yeah, let's see if there's anybody we can raid. I have to do it on this machine here. I do wish Twitch would allow us to, YouTube would allow us to raid. Following, that's good. I don't know why that filter disappears. Loozapalooza. They've been up for 49 minutes. 11 minutes. Time Roller. Let's raid Time Roller. He's always on, checking us out. So if you want to join on that, just click through the raid. I'm going to start it in a moment. YouTube folks, you can't do it unless you want to come over to Twitch and do it. Hopefully you guys have a great day and the rest of your week. Thursday, hopefully we'll be back for our game night live. That should be fun. I'm looking. Nikki's actually kind of looking for it. She's just been very kind of worn out. So YouTube, Twitch folks, take care. It was good seeing you. Have a great one. And say hi over on Time Roller's channel for me. Okay, YouTube folks. Thank you for being here. And then you guys have a great week.